guys, welcome to Scripture Breakdown. This is Candy from Christ for Metal. Today we are going to be covering the topic of living a life of worship and what are some ways that we can do that. So I will be reading off of Matthew 22 verse 36 through 38, and it's basically where one of the Pharisees is asking Jesus what the greatest commandment is. So it says, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." So if we tie living a life of worship with the scripture, we can see that the Lord wants us to give him, as the scripture says, our heart, our soul, and our mind. And one of the ways we can do that is spending time with him, spending time in prayer, in those quiet places where we just talk to the Lord and invite him into our heart. That is one of the ways that we can worship the Lord, by surrendering our being, our whole, our everything to him, and just spending time with him and seeking his presence. I know a lot of times we think worship and we think worship music or worship service. And of course, those things are great. And I encourage you guys to definitely get into worship time with music, because that's also a great way to just surrender to the Lord and pray along with music and worship and beautiful lyrics and words. But definitely prayer and spending time with the Lord in those quiet times is one of the greatest ways that we can worship him, because he wants our heart. He wants our whole being. And that's a great way to do that. Another great way to take inventory of that is to see, are we following his commandments? So are actions honoring him? How are we treating those around us? What words are we releasing? What messages are we putting out there? And especially nowadays, we may not be getting together as much with our loved ones in person, but on social media, there's a lot going on and there's a lot that we put out there. So it's really good to kind of take inventory and see, what are we putting out there, and not be getting caught up in our feelings and everything, so we can be a good representation of the Lord. Because keeping those commandments, having that self-control, and putting out a positive message and a hopeful message is one of the ways that we can also worship him, because we are honoring him in following the commandments. So I invite you guys to take inventory and see if there's anything that you can tweak in your life, or that you're doing in your life that you could do better in order to honor the Lord and live a life of worship. Because everything that we do, we should do it onto the Lord, as if we're doing it directly onto him. And that's a good way to kind of keep ourselves accountable for how we're doing things and the disciplines that we develop. So I thank you guys for being here. I hope that you're able to take some time, spend some time with the Lord, take some inventory, and just tweak some things around, because there's always areas that we can work on to make better. And if you guys need anything, any prayer requests, you can always hit me up. And I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday weekend. Take care.